It's rusty, it's overgrown, and it's hiding in the woods like a secret no one was supposed to find.
Not a Jeep, not a Bronco, but not act.
This forgotten machine looks like it clawed its way through a war, a mountain, and time itself. These are America's rarest off-road vehicles. Machines so obscure, so ahead of their time. Most people never even knew they existed. Chapter 1. The Jeep Before Jeep. 1938 Bantam Recon Car. Before Jeep was a word, there was Bantam. Built in a Pennsylvania factory, running on fumes, the Bantam reconnaissance car was the Army's answer to mobility in World War II. It was boxy, light, and brilliant, just under 2,000 pounds, with four-wheel drive and a short wheelbase that could crawl through anything. The Army loved it. But they didn't trust the tiny company to deliver in volume. So they gave the blueprints to Willys and Ford, and Bantam faded into history. Only about 70 were ever made. The original Jeep? You've probably never seen one in person. Chapter 2. The original 4x4 truck, 1919 FWD Model B. Built in the shadow of World War I, the FWD Model B wasn't just ahead of its time. It practically invented its own category. Designed by the four-wheel drive auto company, it featured full-time 4WD, chain-driven axles, and a rugged 36-horsepower engine. That doesn't sound like much now, but in 1919, it was revolutionary. These were trucks used on muddy battlefields and rugged logging trails. Today, they're museum-grade ghosts of the off-road world, mechanically wild, impossibly rare, and almost extinct.
Chapter 3. The Tiny Warrior. 1942 Crosley CT3 Pup.
It looked like a toy, but it was built for war. The Crosley Pup weighed under 1,000 pounds and had just 13 horsepower, but it could be loaded onto a glider and dropped behind enemy lines. Designed for airborne troops, it was four-wheel drive, had a manual transmission, and was nimble enough to navigate bombed-out back roads. After the war, Crosley tried to sell it to civilians, but it was just too weird. Fewer than 40 are known to exist today. One of the smallest, rarest 4x4s America ever made. Chapter 4. The Overlanding OG, 1977 GMC Jimmy Casagrande. This wasn't just a truck, it was a full-blown camper, lifted and ready for the wild. The Casagrande took the full-size GMC Jimmy and turned it into a trail-ready RV with a fiberglass camper shell, pop-up roof, and a functional kitchen. Underneath, solid axles, a 350 V8, and all the torque you needed to haul gear into the wilderness. It was built for adventure decades before overlanding became a hashtag. Only a few hundred were ever made, and most didn't survive the beatings they took. Find one today, and you struck vintage off-road gold. Chapter 5. Jeep's V8 Muscle, 1974 Cherokee Chief. Wide, loud, and not here to play nice. The Cherokee Chief was Jeep's answer to the muscle car era, off the pavement. Flared fenders, wide track axles, and an AMC 401 V8 that could throw down 215 horsepower and over 300 pound-feet of torque. This wasn't a grocery getter. It was a trail-devouring monster with full-time quadra-track four-wheel drive. Most of them were beaten into the ground by weekend warriors. A pristine, early model. Chapter 6. The Sci-Fi Crawler, Hustler Commando 4x4. It looked like it came from Mars, but it was born in California. The Hustler Commando was a fiberglass-bodied, tubular-framed, mid-engine off-roader, built for utility and military use. It could be a pickup, a van, or troop carrier, and it didn't care how ugly it looked because it was built to survive. Under the skin, Ford V6 or V8, manual 4-speed, divorce transfer case, and a center of gravity that hugged the terrain like Velcro. Only about 100 were ever made, and most vanished in the desert. A real-world rover, forgotten by time. Chapter 7. The Warhorse Turned Workhorse, 1946. Dodge Power Wagon WDX. Born on the battlefield, raised on the farm, the Power Wagon WDX was the civilianized version of Dodge's legendary military trucks. It had a 230 cubic inch inline-six, massive Dana axles, and a power takeoff winch built to drag, pull, and climb. Some models even came with blackout lights and rifle racks straight from the war zone. This wasn't a pickup, it was a mechanical mule. And early WDX models, built by hand, worked to death, and almost never seen in original condition. Chapter 8. The DealerBuilt OffRoader, 1958 Chevy Apache. NAPCO. Before Chevy offered 4W drive from the factory, you had to build your own, or find a dealer who would, and enter NAPCO. Their Power Pack kits turned 2W dive trucks into full-blown off-road animals. Solid axles, leaf springs, transfer cases, all bolted right in. The 1958 Apache with a NAPCO kit was the ultimate DIY trail rig. Some were done at the dealership. Others, built in barns by farmhands and hot rodders. Every surviving one is unique and nearly impossible to find. Chapter 9. The Featherweight Phantom, Allied Fiberglass Ranger 4x4. Take a Jeep CJ, rip off the steel, replace it with a futuristic fiberglass shell. That's the Allied Ranger, a lightweight kit vehicle built for people who thought Jeeps were too heavy and too boring. It dropped 600 pounds, kept the Dana axles and AMC drivetrains, and looked like it drove straight out of a sci-fi movie. It was better in the sand, easier to maintain, and didn't rust. But with low production numbers and sketchy assembly, few survived. Today, a real Allied Ranger is a unicorn on wheels. Chapter 10. The Forward Control Freak 1957 Jeep FC150. It looked like a bulldog with wheels and drove like nothing else. The Jeep Forward Control 150 put the driver right on top of the front axle with a short wheelbase and crazy good visibility. It wasn't fast, but it was unstoppable thanks to a torquey 4-cylinder engine and serious ground clearance. Utility crews, fire departments, and ranchers loved them. Everyone else thought they were too weird. These weren't built to turn heads at car shows. They were built to survive mud, mountains, and time itself. They were weird. They were underbuilt, overbuilt, misunderstood. Every one of them left tire tracks in American history, now almost completely erased. Which one would you resurrect for the trail? Drop it in the comments and subscribe for more forgotten machines that deserve the spotlight.